And I'm horrible with technology. I'm telling you, I wish I would have had kids, but I hate children. That's not really true. You know what? I'm actually in the process of adopting an Indian kid so I could figure out how to work my cell phone. Really. I will take Vishnu and Krishna as my God if he can bring me into the 21st century. I actually locked myself out of my own phone with that cell phone thumb recognition, right? I had to bribe a 7-year-old in the schoolyard. I'm like, listen, I'll give you $20 in a juice box. You can unlock me. Takes him 5 seconds. He hands the phone back to me. He goes, it's not a toy. And I feel sorry for young people because I feel like the whole world has gotten greedy, right? When I was a kid, I was taught to share. I would teach like greed to kindergarten kids to prepare them for this brave new world. Anyone scared about the world? Right? I'd be like, hey kids, we're gonna play a fun game. It's called Duck or Get Ducked with an F. Now, Johnny, you have 2 fruit roll-ups. Why? Well, my mom says I should share. Well, your mom is stupid. I want you to hold on to those fruit roll-ups, and I want you to steal all of Sally's cookies. But that's mean. No, Johnny, that's America. And Sally, I want you to stop crying because I want you to go into Timmy's book bag and take some of his Adderall. Not all of it, because he needs to focus. But enough to kill your appetite, wash it down with the chocolate milk, and sell the remainder of pills to Donna when you call her a lazy fat pig. But Donna's my best friend. No, kids, cold hard cash is your best friend. You got that with a C? Cold hard cash. Now, I want you to learn all these skills, otherwise you're going to wind up with a student loan debt that you're never going to be able to pay. Working at some electronics sweatshop, living on your parents' couch, addicted to marijuana brownies and video games, waiting to die. Just want to... I just want to throw it out. I'm available for children's parties.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. Hello, anybody who's listening in Australia or Denmark or Israel or Canada. We have some listeners in Denmark, Israel, and Canada, which I think is pretty cool. What you just heard was Vanessa Hollingshead, and she is our guest today on the Funny Women of a Certain Age podcast. I am delighted to welcome her. Vanessa, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I should warn you that I have a small dog visiting me, and because she's a small dog, she's got a big mouth. So you will probably hear a lot of barking, maybe a little bit of howling. It's very cute, though, because she's tiny, and her howl sounds like... So don't be surprised if that's what you hear. Okay. So, Vanessa, you are one of the busiest people I have come across. Are you on your way to a show tonight?
I am on my way to actually a doctor appointment tonight because I'm getting ready to do a show this weekend. And then the 11th, I get ready to go do a show for a week. And then I get back. My dearest writing friend is visiting.
Oh, nice.
And I won't even get a chance to see her. I'll see her for 2 hours. And then because I go to Rhode Island to do Carol's show.
Right, yeah.
Jesus, this doesn't... See, I don't even know how to turn this off to... I'm just going to say...
well, I can hear you fine.
But it just keeps chiming in.
Oh, well, you've got an alarm, and I've got a dog. It'll be fine.
Can you not chime in right now? I'm doing a podcast, and it keeps dinging. Thank you so much.
Are you talking to Siri?
Yeah, no, I'm talking to the guy who keeps chiming in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, and please don't chime in because I can hear everything. Okay.
Yeah. What she said. So, Vanessa.
Yeah.
I have spent the last couple of days, I like to call it doing research, but really it's just listening to comedy. I listened to your interview with Mark Maron, which, by the way, I will link to this cast. And it was, wow.
Oh, God.
No, not the laryngitis, the harrowing history. My goodness, I'm not going to even get into it because it's just, there's too much to cover. But I will say that I learned a couple of things that you and I have in common. Mm-hmm. First of all, we're both native New Yorkers. Mm-hmm. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. You?
I was born and raised in Greenwich Village and then 410 Central Park West. and then eventually, then Chelsea, and then eventually I had to be taken in, as you know, by Big Race when I was 9. When
Yeah.
I was 9, and
Foster situation.
yeah.
Yeah. So, well, so both native New Yorkers, which is increasingly rare. Both have, let's see, how should I put this delicately? Substance abuse issues in the family. And in my case, as partially as a result of that, sober. And you are too, I believe. Both
Yes.
sober. And then you mentioned Big Grace, who is a very formative person in your history. She insisted, if I remember correctly, that you go to secretarial school, right?
Yes, the Betty Owen
My,
Secretarial Institute.
and my mother insisted
Agree?
that I learn to type.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
my question to you then is, can you still touch type? And when was the last time you had to?
I'm a writer, so I touch type 24/7. I mean, I
Oh,
touch
well,
stuff
that
all the time. I write stuff all the time. I coach. I punch up comedians' jokes. Then I write new ideas. Then I'm working on a show. So I'm always, you just do it. But I graduated with the lowest test scores.
no.
With 26 words a minute. I type 26 words a minute. And, but I managed to get into, they didn't, when they would interview you for tests back then,
Yeah.
back in the 80s, there
Right.
wasn't monitors and computers and this and that all over you. You would see the test and then you'd flip it over to take the test. And because I was always trying to get my speed up and always trying to get a job, what I did is I said, oh, can I just practice? So I would practice the actual written test slowly, turn
Right.
it over like I was just practicing. And then they'd say, so you ready to take the test? I said, oh, yes, absolutely. And they'd flip it over. And then I would just type it like I was typing it, and it would be the actual test. And they'd go, oh, you type 67 words a minute. I'm like, yes, I do.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Thank God
Well,
for my acting lessons.
really. So fortunately, at this point, speed is irrelevant. It's really more about, actually not even about accuracy, because there's that wonderful autocorrect, which we all love so desperately.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Well,
my visiting dog that you just heard.
it's
Her
okay.
name is Penny, and she's adorable, but oh my God, does she have a big mouth? Yeah. So I was watching your Dry Bar special, and I watched your special that you recorded at was it Stand Up New York like 5 years ago? Is that right? Yeah, Because I'm a Lady, which
Yes.
is a wonderful title.
Yes. Yeah, a
A
lot of
wonderful
people
title.
like that.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, man, you have so much energy on stage. It blows my mind. I had to take a nap. Oh my God, I'm so tired from watching this special. But where does that come from? How do you manage to do that? I assume every show you have that much energy, right?
Yeah,
Is it caffeine? What is it?
no, I just always have that. I just have always had that energy. Matter of fact, I'm on day 2 of no sugar, wheat, or flour, and I'm doing it because I've got a little bit of clogged artery in my heart now, which I never had. So I've been
Oh
doing
boy.
this. I'm one of these Google people. I'll Google everything. I'll even
Right.
Google, and they say it's not the fat, it's not the meat, it's not any of that gives you high cholesterol and clogged arteries. It's carbohydrates. You get
Oh,
rid of that, you get rid of the inflammation, and then you get rid of the plaque. So this is day 2. I've tried many times. As someone in recovery, my go-to is definitely sweets and candy. So now I
oh yeah.
go to except like soda
Oh,
and I got some sugar-free pops. But no, I've always had that kind of energy, and I always felt give people a show. Really
yeah.
give people a show. Some people are depressed or sad. They came there to see you. You get to hold a microphone and get paid for it. You know, and I always loved performing. I always was a bit of a show person.
Right.
Even my
Right.
mom said, she goes, I'll never forget, you were like 4 or 5 years old when we were walking down the street and there was a broken television set and you stuck your head in the broken television set and you said, I'm going to be on TV. And
Wow. Wow.
always the ham.
I guess so. I guess so.
But I wanted
An
to
early prop comic.
be an actress. I had no desire to be a comedian. I wanted to play a cop. I thought
Mm-hmm.
I made a good detective, a good police officer, a good therapist,
Mm-hmm.
teacher, and ended up being a comedian.
But you do still act, right?
Yes, yes, I do. I do.
Do you prefer film? Do you prefer live performance? Which is your thing, or is it one of those book me and I'll do it?
Yeah, book me and I'll do it. I get little bit parts here and there, which I love. But I'm doing so much comedy these days.
No.
But I do love filling in for, like, if someone needs me to play a character actress for something they're shooting, I get a chance to do that. And and film acting, theater acting is so different than being a stand-up comedian.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely. Are you a Shakespeare fan?
I was, but as I got older, I was like, this. He takes too long to say stuff. He just get to the point.
Yeah.
And I never thought I'd be saying that. I remember spending 2 years and going to Lee Strasberg Theatrical Institute working on Kate from Taming of the Shrew.
Right.
And, we'd work on it, we'd rework on it. We'd have to pretend we had to go to the zoo and study
Animals?
animals, and then I would study the lion, and you'd learn how to have a certain nobility, and the way you turned, and the way you looked, and the way you sounded, and the way you held your arms, and then you'd slowly do the inner life. You'd write 40 pages on her, why she is the way, her relationship with
Wow.
Bianca, her relationship with her father, her relationship, with Petruchio, all of that. And every week you'd work on it, every few weeks, and then you'd work on some modern stuff. And I loved all that. But sometimes when I would go to see Shakespeare, I'd be like, when this is fucking late and I
Tick tock.
am right
Tick tock,
already.
Bill. Come on.
How long do you have to say? All right, yes. You're depressed because she left you. Okay. How sad she left me. Fine. Need a page to do that?
It's like when you go to see Chekhov and in the first scene somebody comes in with a gun and you're like, okay, you better use that. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw I think it was the Cherry Orchard or Seagull, one of those at Lincoln Center, and I'm sure it was a brilliant production. Kevin Kline was in it, and it's Chekhov. It's at Lincoln Center, so of course it's brilliant. And all I remember is sitting there going, "Oh my God, just give me the gun and I'll shoot you."
Right. Right.
I got someplace to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just, so I was embarrassed. So I never really said that. And then I studied iambic pentameter with Michael Moriarty at his studio. And I learned the sonnets. And it's nice to, the thing, like Jerry Seinfeld said, the great thing about New York is it's cool that you grew up there. It's just cool. You say, yeah, I'm from New York. Like, it's just a given. I went to school in New York, or I work in New York. It's just, yeah. The same is true of, I studied Shakespeare. Yeah, I know Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
I know Chekhov. I know some great philosophers. It's just good to know. But it's a lot of fun. I'll never forget, I was in Troilus and Cressida. I was 16 years old. It was at the Roundhouse Theater. I offered to stage manage all the shows if they let me.
Mm-hmm.
If they gave me one line, I would stage manage all their shows for free. Troilus and Cressida. Wow. And one of my lines was, "Sir, my lord will conduct you thither." Now, I was like 15 going on 16. And you're supposed to look at the Lord saying, "Sir, my Lord will conduct you thither."
Right.
And, and he was on the horse. And I was so happy to get a line. I would just say it right to the audience. I'd be like, "Lord, my Lord will conduct you thither." And then I always say, director say, "Nessa, you're supposed to say it to the actor." Tiberius.
Well, Shakespeare used to be done in a very presentational way toward the audience. So maybe you were just being, true to the roots, the real Shakespearean productions, a declamatory style.
I just had a really, I was going to make my one line count.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do, in your stand-up, you do characters, you do voices, you do accents, you do all kinds of stuff. So it's not like that's gone to waste. Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite accent?
No, I love doing them all. I really love doing them all, and I love doing character. I love doing like complicated, nuanced characters. Like I'm doing a whole bit now on participation trophies, and I'm like, why don't
Yeah.
they have participation trophies in the Olympics? Why don't they do that? Why don't they do that? Well. So it's like here we have Simone Biles and absolutely brilliant execution. She's doing an Arabian roundup, and now it's followed by a triple Lutz, and then another flip, and then she's now doing a double Arabian roundup. Dan, I've never actually seen anything like this. It's extraordinary. She's actually making history. And here we have Natalia Denisovich, and she is having a hard time just doing a somersault. She's getting up. She's walking the floor. She's very happy. She's waving at everybody. You know what? I say we give them both gold medals. I mean, one for perfect execution and the other for great attitude.
Absolutely.
Simone would be like, I've been studying since I was 3 years old. And then she gets this. And Natalia's like, I am so happy to get this, to get the gold medal, because sometimes I do a cartwheel and I do it, it's good. And sometimes I do the cartwheel and I fall. But I'm just so happy to be here in Paris. It's so different from where I live, and I'm so happy. So I try and take all the joy and put it in the character. So I always try and make my characters very, loving or fun. I never do the ugly side or the mean side of a character.
Right. Well, that's cool, because there is certainly some, I guess, discussion about whether or not doing an accent is punching down, or should you make fun of someone. The thing, I can make fun of us, but you can't make fun of us. You know what I mean?
I'm really disgusted with all of that, because a bunch of characters I can't make fun of Asians. I do a great Asian accent. I can do Chinese. I can do Japanese. I can't do that. You have to, if it's a black audience, mainly a big black audience, and a few whites, I can do black as much as I want to. If it's mainly just a couple blacks, all white, no, I can't do it. Middle Eastern, I used to be able to do. Israeli, I got to be a little bit careful with. And it's like Indian, fine, but I have to make it Deepak because Deepak's got money. If they're too poor, no, I can't. Or they have to be really spiritual. No, it's, and I think it's real bullshit. People cherry pick what they want to laugh at and what they don't want to laugh at, instead of looking at the content of the person that's saying it, the content of the person that's doing it. And it's made my job very hard, and it's depressed me a little bit. And I got very depressed at one point. And I remember Whoopi Goldberg. I listened to her. I was like literally curled up. I was working on Royal Caribbean. I got talked to about being too edgy and having to take this bit out that no one ever asked me to. I thought, wow, this is like a job. I'm being silenced, what I can and can't say. And every night, I would Google politically incorrect, what's happening with politically incorrect, social justice warriors, wokeism, like everything. I was just trying to study it. Like, what is it that everyone is getting so upset about? Same with gays and trans. I have to be careful with doing trans material. You basically can't do that. So this, I feel, is, when it's said from a loving, warm, all-inclusive way, we should be able to make fun of everybody. We should be allowed to. But Whoopi said, you know what? You can let this make you bitter and angry and upset, or you can write smarter. Just learn how to write smarter. And when she said that, it's like the sun shined. I was like, oh my goodness, and it was a lot harder, but I did learn how to write smarter. And as long as people had money, I could make fun of a French person, an English person, an Irish person, a European person. As long as you had money, I could make fun of you. If you were marginalized, it was a little harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was working on a bit about how one of the reasons that I did a DNA test was so that I could figure out who I could still make fun of, because I'm,
Right.
obviously multi ethnic. So, and my two largest groups in my DNA chart were Irish and Nigerians. So I figured, great, that gives me carte blanche to just go around doing a possibly terrible and maybe offensive Irish accent. And if
Yeah.
I can figure out how to do a Nigerian one, I think I have carte blanche there too. No pun. Okay,
Yeah,
pun
you
intended.
definitely do Black Irish. Just say I'm
Yeah.
definitely Black Irish.
Hmm.
I'm Black Irish, but yeah, then you would, and then if you had to do a perfect Nigerian accent, you people that have a hard time with accents, I would just say go on YouTube, really study the Irish accent, really study the Nigerian accent, because when people see that you've taken the time to really learn the like really learn the intricacies of their language, they
Right.
really know that you care about it, and they're not so fast to find fault with you.
Hmm. So if you find that if it's a genuine accent, for instance, you spent so much time in England, you can do a Cockney, you can do a what do they call it, like a BBC received English type of thing, and it's real, it's genuine. Somebody could hear it and go, "Oh, that's Essex, that's
Yeah.
whatever area." Yeah.
Or Liverpool, or there's a lot of dialects, but yeah, and they'll think, oh, she took the time to learn it. Like Australia, I mean, South African is very hard, and
Hmm.
it's different in Australian. So when you're doing an Australian and you're doing a Cockney and then you're doing an upper class, they'll know you took the time to differentiate, and they're not so fast to say, oh, she's making fun of us.
I guess because then you're not pulling out a stereotype. You're pulling out a person. You're creating a person who speaks that way. I
Yes.
like that. I like that. I'm going to
Yeah.
quote you on that. Vanessa said I can.
Yeah. You go right ahead.
Thank you very much. So one of the things that we do on this podcast is um, you've been interviewed possibly thousands of times. So I am going to ask you a question that comics get asked all the time, but I want you to take the opportunity to answer it any way you want. It doesn't have to be true. It can be as sarcastic as you like, whatever. Okay? So Vanessa, if you weren't a comic, what would you be?
I always wanted to be an actress. I say an actress or a veterinarian. I love animals. I wanted to be either one.
A veterinarian, really?
Yeah.
So do you have pets?
Yes, I've got two, and I work at Bidewee. I work at the shelter. I'm going on yeah, I think it's 3.5, 4 years in July that I've been
That's
working. Matter of fact, I'm
wonderful.
going to be up at 8 o'clock to either take care of the dogs or the kitties,
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. You have cats or you have dogs or both?
Yeah, two cats. I was taking care of a dog I loved, but usually I clean 10 to 12 poopy dog cages,
Oh,
and then if there's
fun.
time you can socialize with them, which is fun, or I take care of the little kittens, and, I can cry, like, when you're holding a little kitten or you've got little kittens crawling all over you, and you look at their vulnerability,
Yeah.
that the cruelty of human beings, I just will cry.
Sure.
Thinking, thank God they found their way to Bidewee, and thank
Yeah.
God for Bidewee. You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one of the
just
ones that
yeah.
one of these charities that I support when I have any money at all. So did you get your kittens from Bidewee?
No, one I found during COVID. I heard this cat crying on the street, and she was skinny and all covered in dirt, and I grabbed her, and she just grabbed onto me, and
Oh,
Lil, yeah, and then Billy, a black kitty, is polydactyl. I didn't even know that,
yeah.
and I literally was trying to help a guy find a gray cat like the one he lost. They said, "Oh, I love doing this stuff. What is it? What kind of cat you want? I'll find it. I'll find you that's a good cat." And I
Hmm.
fell in love with the sister that was Billy's little black cat. And she's Miss Aloof. Like I thought, oh, she'll be a lab cat. I would have gotten her when she was like 3 weeks old. And
Yeah.
no, She's like, I'm gonna do my thing. You pet me enough already. I'm done with you. But Lil is like a lap cat. Lil is very needy,
Oh,
and
that's
she
nice.
likes to drink out of the shower.
That's interesting. I don't know of cats that do that.
Drink out of
Dogs, yeah,
the
but
faucet only. Yeah, yeah.
wow, wow. So you've been doing the Funny Women of a Certain Age shows for a while. You're in one of the Showtime specials. How did you meet Carol? How did you get connected with Funny Women of a Certain Age?
Well, she was doing these shows downtown at the Crane Theater,
Right.
and we had met a few times. I didn't know her formally. I know that I did a military show, and she did a military show. I remember the first time I talked to her, I really wanted to do some military shows, and she wasn't really doing them. And she gave me someone to contact. It was, it was not easy. It's not easy to get on these military shows without knowing the right military people, which is
Right.
not too easy to find. So, and then we ended up working together, and we had a wonderful time. And then she said, "Listen, I've got a kind of a residency at the Crane Theater for funny women of a certain age," and she was trying to promote this because she noticed that all her friends were just so brilliantly talented. They had all this experience. They were so funny, and they weren't getting the amount of recognition that they rightfully deserved. You're always taught that comedy is for younger people. So
Right.
I ended up auditioning. She had this huge audition at the Crane Theater. I was she just said, "Can you do a set?" And I said, "Yeah." Now I was 2 weeks off of sugar. Again, another sugar withdrawal.
Oh
And
boy.
there was this almond croissant at this bakery, and that was my downfall. My hair is messy. I got yelled at the ship for being censored about what I can and can't say. And I said, "Carol, can I talk about anything?" She's like, "Yeah, just do your thing." And so my hair was kind of frizzy. I just had jeans and a t-shirt. I hadn't had sugar in 2 weeks. I took a couple bites of this almond thing. I swear I just as well been on crack. And then I get on stage and I'm like on fire, and finished the setup. It was just a nice time. And she said, "Oh, by the way, 11 of those people that were laughing so much, or 12 of them, they were from Showtime." So
Oh, cool.
now, if she would have said, "There's people from Showtime," I would have been so tight. I wouldn't have
Right.
joked with them. I was so loose. I was like, "Oh, you girls know." I was just like loosey goosey. I was just having a fun
Mhm.
time. And then
Right.
within 6 months, she got Funny Women of a Certain Age, and it
Yeah.
became special. And then we got 3 more, and then COVID happened, which was
Yeah.
devastating.
Yeah. So many things ended or stopped abruptly because of COVID. I'm not breaking.
It's hard to get that feeling and that momentum again. Like you ride the wave for a certain time, and it's like the wave just came crashing down.
Yeah.
No fault of our own, just life.
Did you do any Zoom shows during the lockdowns?
Yes, I did. I hated every single one of them, but I did them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care for them myself, but it's the only way. I guess it was one of the ways to keep
Yeah.
yourself motivated.
I started teaching a lot. I ended up teaching, and
Mhm.
I didn't know what would happen. I went into a depression because I was so defined by what I did.
Right.
Yeah, the teaching really kept me going. And I taught how to deal with hecklers, how to write 5 minutes. So that ended up holding me together for a couple of years.
Do you still teach?
Yeah, when I can. I used to teach workshops with somebody, but she's back working.
Mhm.
I coach. I do private coaching. Yeah, when people need
Oh.
it.
And that's all. People can find out about that from your website.
I don't really say much. They hear it kind of like word of mouth.
Oh, okay.
But,
Well, then you're hearing
no,
it now.
website I haven't even updated, but I probably should. But usually I do coach, and or I do punch up. I either punch up people's jokes, or I coach them and I get them to create five minutes, or I help develop them. And I
Right.
try to teach in such a way that after a while they won't need me. It's like that thing. It's like I could either get you some great fish, or I could teach you how to fish, so you can always
Right.
be able to how to fish.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. So the other thing that we do here is I like to give people honorifics. Carol is her Grace. because she is, in her words, so fucking graceful. Leanne Lord is Her Majesty because she just is. I happen to be a baroness. I am actually a baroness. And that's because there's this place called Sealand. It's like a weird little principality sitting on an oil rig in the middle of the English Channel or something. And this guy bought it and decided to make it a principality. So you can now buy a title if you want one. So a friend gave me a title. I am now Baroness Shelly Colman of Sealand. Thank you very much.
You really are Baroness Shelly Colman of Sealand.
I have the paperwork to prove it.
Wow.
I have no idea how much it cost, but it's on my wall, so I believe it.
You have to come up. Do you come up on stage like that?
I haven't figured out how to work it in yet.
We actually have a baroness performing. She got tired of the castles and the seas and wanted to see us common folk. Please put your hands together for Baroness Shelley of what island?
Sealand. Of Sealand.
Of Sealand. Not to be confused with Sealand, which is in Disney World. Sealand, which is off the coast of England.
I believe it is. Yes. So your title. I was looking up the word of venerable because I thought, first of all, it works very nicely with Vanessa, but it is a term that is given to people who have experienced a lot, and it is a term of respect. And I thought, after all that you have been through, you are officially the venerable Vanessa Hollingshead. And so when you update your website, please feel free to put that on there.
Oh, that's great. I like that.
Yes, indeed.
Very
and
good.
I have no authority, but I've just decided that that's your new title. And of course, when you are introduced on stage, please feel free. The venerable.
I thought you were going to say, I was thinking you'd be the court jester. I always thought court jester.
No. The venerable Vanessa Hollingshead.
Hollingshead. Yes, I like that.
Good. And your cats will now have to address you with a little more respect, I think.
Well, Lil will always address me with respect. But Miss Aloof over there, she'll be, I don't care what your name is.
Where's the food?
Space.
Yeah.
But that's why you love cats, because they're quirky,
Yeah. And so now is the time when we promote stuff. So I know that you are going to be in Rhode Island on March 8th and 9th with the Funny Women of a Certain Age. It's you and Carol Montgomery. And do you know who the third comic is? I didn't write that down.
I think it's Maureen Langdon. We're going to be in Rhode Island. They had one show and it was sold out. So now they added a second show.
Which is fantastic. And that one will probably sell out as well.
Yes.
I'm
going to be doing a show this weekend. It's called Married, Single, and a Baby. And I'm the single one. Hold on. Google.
Well, actually, this won't go up until Monday, the 3rd of March.
This is that'll be too late. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But then you have something after the Rhode Island show, I'm sure. Are you doing any more cruises?
Yes, I'm going to be doing the cruise. Margaritaville. I'm going to be doing that. That leaves out of West Palm Beach, and I leave on the March 3rd, and I come back on the 7th, and then the 8th and 9th I'm with Carol, and then the 11th I'm back on another cruise line. I think it's the Elation. I'll be doing that.
Oh,
and
my
then
goodness!
Married, Single, and a Baby, and and then I try and do my New York gigs when I can.
Right.
And, try and get some new writing done.
Right. With your touch typing skills.
With my touch typing skills, or my just now it's about like AI, and I'm fascinated with how much information we have to take in these days, and how do we keep our brain, going with the amount of stuff you can watch, listen to, read. It's overwhelming.
That is for sure. Yeah. So it's a good thing that you get to go out to sea sometimes, and I'm sure you can. I know you can obviously get everything out there, but you can just pretend. You can lie on the deck and look at the stars and pretend it's the 1700s.
My greatest joy is walking into my apartment. I used to get angry at my mom. I'm like, Mom, don't you want to travel all around the world? No, I don't. But Mom, there's like a whole world out there. No, I don't. I like to be in my home. My home is my everything. I love being home. But don't you want to meet people? No, I don't want to meet anybody. I'm like,
Have you
well,
met people? Why would you want to meet more of them?
and you know what? And then I'm like, so what do you want to do, Vanessa? I just want to be home. I'll make you dinner, whatever you want. Please, I don't want to go to a club. I don't want to go out to dinner. I don't want to go out. I have to take a train. No, car. No.
So just you and the cats.
Yeah, me and the cats. I've turned into my own stereotype.
Wonderful.
Cat lady.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
The venerable Vanessa Hollingshead, cat lady.
Cat lady.
I like it. I like it.
Lover of cats and dogs. Matter of fact, I have a beautiful sign. Just so you know, it's my favorite quote.
Vanessa has gone to get a sign, which I assume is, an actual physical sign, not a sign from God.
Sign. It's a physical
sign that says, "And God said, let us send them without wings, so none suspect they are angels, and it's dogs and cats." There you go. One other thing I want to ask you about before I let you go. Are you working on a show about your dad? I read that.
Yeah.
That
yes, I am. It's about my dad. It's about Timothy Leary. It's about Richard Alpert. It's about LSD. It's all
perfect.
About
and what's it called? Working title?
The Divine Rascal.
The Divine Rascal.
Yeah.
Father of the Venerable Vanessa.
Father of the Venerable Vanessa. Yes,
That's fantastic. So I assume you're not in workshopping it or anything yet.
We have been so busy working on the deck to sell. It's a limited TV series. I've never worked so hard in my life on making something look, that you want to sell on TV.
Yeah.
It's going on 5 years now, just working on this deck.
Holy crap!
And I had a writing partner, Jeannie, who's coming, that years ago in 1999, we worked on my one-person show called Flashback. And we spent 4 years working on that. And then we were on and off and took breaks. And then we tried many different versions of this. And then we realized that we had a great show because no one knows about how brilliant these men were. Every time you see something on LSD, it's like, you have Tim Leary going, tune in, tune on, drop out. And there's hippie chicks with no bras hugging trees. And It's like, these were brilliant Harvard-educated professors. And my dad was very, very bright, but he was also a bit of a con artist, a bit of a trickster. But he was the one responsible for giving Timothy Leary his first hit of LSD. And in Timothy Leary's Flashback, he actually gives credit to Michael for doing that.
Wow, that's fantastic. And that is a story that needs to be told. And that is a story that, come on, Showtime. Come on.
That can tell it. Tim Leary's daughter, Susan, committed suicide. Jack doesn't talk to him.
Yeah.
My dad's dead. Tim Leary's dead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Somebody needs to, Showtime or not Bravo. What's HBO? Somebody wants to do a series.
And I want to get I just want the history corrected.
Right.
It wasn't Timothy Leary. It wasn't him. It was my dad. And no one knows that. He got erased from history. And the show is what happened. The show is about how that happened.
Yeah.
So
that's
it takes
awesome.
place in the 60s, so there'll be a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll and wonderful music.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking. A fantastic music from the 1960s that we both grew up with.
Yes.
All right, Vanessa, I know you got a million things to do, a doctor's appointment, cats to care for, and ships to sail or something. I will not keep you, but I want to thank you very much for taking the time to do this with us. Carol and Leanne normally sit in and, co-host with me, but they're both as busy as you. Fortunately, my big job is walking the dog, and then I'm going to CVS later. So,
Okay. Well, isn't it nice having a little dog around?
It is. She's a delight. If she would just stop barking for a minute, I would be a lot happier. But she's adorable. She's snuggly. She's the sweetest thing in the world. And her name is Penny. I was going to say hi, Penny, but clearly she has already.
Like Penny Lane.
Yes, exactly. All right, Vanessa, thanks so much for taking the time. You can find her on Instagram at Vanessa Comedy.
Do you know I have to check this?
No.
This is how big I am. I'm definitely on Facebook.
Yeah.
I had someone fix up my my site.
Yeah. You know what? Google Vanessa Hollingshead. You'll find her.
Vanessa Comedian.
Vanessa Comedian on Instagram. Fantastic. And find all of her stuff, so much stuff on YouTube. You will love it. And please listen to the episode of Mark Maron's WTF podcast. That will blow your mind. Pun intended. Thanks very much, Vanessa.
I'm just so happy that you were able to not let the laryngitis get, you know what it feels like to be a performer and have laryngitis and you feel like you have no voice and there's so much you want to say.
Absolutely. But you know what? The story the story came through it. It didn't matter what you sounded like. It was what you were saying.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.
Okay.
Say bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.